Hello, and welcome to Rethinking Our History, where we seek to shed a light on events that have been forgotten and covered up, and to make us all question how much do we really know about our history? I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian, and we are here to reveal all the sordid details of history that have been swept under the rug. Get ready to get angry, be curious, and maybe have a laugh or two as we rethink our history.
Hello, friends.
Hey guys,
Thanks for joining us for another lesson number 45.
45.
45.
45 to zigzags.
Maybe that's all we need.
Go to
That's
the
what you're
park.
going to be
After
next
dark.
year.
Yep.
45.
Yeah.
All right. This week we're going to take a look at a man.
Another one.
We just recorded King Leopold over on Patreon for Why Do Men. You guys should go check that out.
Yep. Go learn
Only
about
$5 a month.
Go learn about why the Congo
Is a
is
shithole.
a shithole now.
It's not their fault.
No.
Not their fault at fucking all. Same reason that the US is a shithole now. Definitely not the Native Americans' fault.
No.
I saw a thing on Snotty Nose Res Kid video the other day, guys. Is a hat. I want it. It says make Turtle Island indigenous again.
Nice.
I need it. It's amazing.
Hell yeah.
All right. So this week we're going to look at a man who has been debated much over the last 500 years. I could have done this for an episode of Why Do Men, but with the recent holiday, I felt it was just right to look into the true history and legacy of one Sir Christopher Columbus. And no, he was not knighted, so I don't know why I called him Sir. We here at Rethinking Our History and the Paranormal Lovers celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus, as much as they tried to make him seem in school, is not a hero or someone who deserves our praise and admiration.
No, he's a real shitty dude.
No, Chris was such a bad dude that Spain, the same Spain that colonized the West and the South, slaughtering whole ethnicities of people, put him in prison for his crimes.
Oh, dude, he was ugly too.
Mhm.
Shoo.
Mhm. But keep in mind, this is also the 1400s.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's the century before the worst century in history.
He didn't have a good painter. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
The
That's what
painters were like, "Fuck no, get out of here, bro."
Yeah, that's what we're gonna put up with. But that does not fit into their narrative very well. It doesn't look good when the one man who is credited with finding the quote unquote new world is also an absolute monster.
Yeah.
But let's go back, way, way back to the 1400s.
Okay.
Columbus's early life is not.
I mean, I'd probably be dead back then, but okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, 1400s, yeah. I don't think they had quite started colonizing Africa yet. So I might have been all right.
I could have been a pirate.
You
I probably would have been a pirate.
You would have been Braveheart. What the fuck are you talking about? You would have been fine.
Freedom!
Like, you would have been an alcoholic, but like everyone was an alcoholic, so you would have been fine. Columbus's early life was not super well known. It is believed he was born somewhere between August and October of 1451 in the Republic of Genoa. This was a maritime republic that existed between 1005 and 1797.
I think on the Blackbeard episodes we talked about Genoa.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Could be wrong though.
Yeah, I don't know. I see it in my brain. Okay, so like I'm a 90s kid, early 2000s kid, teenager. I watched what is that movie with Anne Hathaway? The Princess Diaries a lot.
Yeah.
And so every time I see this, Genoa, it makes me think Genovia.
Genova.
No, she was the princess of Genovia.
Oh.
It's not a real place, but that's what I see when I see that.
Yeah.
Columbus's father was Domenico Domenico
Dominico.
Domenico Colombo, and I will now
Sorry.
be referring to Christopher as Colombo from this point forward.
Oh, Colombo.
And his mother was Susanna Fontana Rosa.
Don't wait. Don't wait.
Domenico was a wool weaver in Genoa and Savona. I'm sorry, guys. It's a lot of Italian. I ain't
Sorry.
got a fucking lick of Italian
Sorry,
in
any
me. I'm
Italians.
sorry.
Like, we don't mean to be like that. Like,
And also on the cheese stand that Colombo would work at when he was younger. There were four other children in the family, three sons, Giacomo, who was sometimes called Diego, Giovanni, Pellegrino, and Bartholomew, who for at least a while ran a cartography workshop in Lisbon.
oh, that's cool.
And
I
one
bet
daughter.
cartography was a really cool
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah. This was when they were literally making new maps as they found new land.
Right.
So, yeah, it was amazing. And one daughter, Bianchet, Bian, hmm, Bianchinetta. Sorry, lots of words, lots of letters.
Bianchinetta.
It's literally like 13 letters long. No reason for that, guys. In his own writings, Colombo claims to have first taken to the sea at age 14. In 1470, the family moved to Savona and Domenico took over a tavern. In 1473, Colombo began to work as a business agent for wealthy families in the Genoa area, such as the Spinolas, Centurino, Centurones, and the De Negros, the blacks. I should just call them the blacks. That's better. In 1476, he was a part of an armed convoy transporting Congo.
Nope, that's
Got
the last
Congo on the
episode.
brain. Transporting cargo to northern Europe. It is believed he may have visited Bristol, England, and Galloway, Ireland. In Ireland, it is thought he may have visited St. Nicholas Collegiate Church. What is known is that in the autumn of 1477, Colombo sailed a ship from Galloway to Lisbon, where he met up with his brother Bart, and the two worked together trading for the Centuroni family. Between 1477 and 1485, Colombo stationed himself in Lisbon. From there, he was sent on a sugar buying trip to Madeira and at some point got married. His wife was Felipa Prestrelio e Manes. I'm so goddamn sorry. I do not speak Portuguese.
You're
Fucking
good.
hell. Daughter of a Portuguese nobleman. I'm apologizing to any Portuguese listeners we have, and Italian and Spanish. I know a little bit more Spanish than I do the other ones, but these
Right.
are some long, complicated names.
Yeah. Was a long time ago too.
Yeah, the 1400s, like, their names were just and it's different, it's just a different language.
Extravagant.
Yeah, very extravagant. In either 1479 or 1480, Colombo's son Diego was born, but this did not keep him home for long. Between 1482 and 85, he sailed along the west coast of Africa trading, making it all the way to present-day Ghana. Not Guyana, Ghana.
Right.
Sometime before 1484. I'm sorry, my brain just went, "Isn't that the" Nope, that's 1408. That's the movie from Stephen King. Colombo went to visit Felipa in Porto Santo only to find out she died.
Hmm.
He left Portugal for Castile in 1485 with Diego in tow. 1487, he took a 20-year-old mistress, which I guess him being in his 50s and her being in her 20s is better than Leopold being 65 and Caroline being 16.
Much better.
An orphan named Beatrice Enriquez de Arana. Spanish.
Beatrice.
Um, who would have who would give birth to his second son, Fernando Columbus, in July of 1488. Colombo recognized the boy as his legitimate child and entrusted his son Diego to care for him in the event of his death. Diego did not do that. Colombo read quite a bit and learned languages such as Latin and Castilian. His reading materials covered topics such as astronomy and history. Quote, Columbus was not a scholarly man, yet he studied these books, made hundreds of marginal notations in them, and came out with ideas about the world that were characteristically simple and strong and sometimes wrong. End quote. Oh boy, was he wrong. Despite oh nope, that's not that fucking word at all. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so scatterbrained.
So, just a side note, I'm scrolling through all these pictures of Columbo, and then there's like one. It's just this old guy with a mouth swab, and he's going, and I'm like, what the fuck?
All right. Maybe
It's
a DNA test.
yeah, they were
Okay.
Columbus's origins with a DNA swab, but it's just this
Alright.
old guy going. The guy's like putting the swab in his mouth.
So fucked up. They really need to think about these things. During the time of the Mongol Empire, Europeans had safe land passage on the Silk Road for trade. Once Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Empire in 1453, the Silk Road was closed to Christian traders. So now they needed a new route to trade in Eastern and Southeastern Asia.
Right.
In 1474, it was suggested by Florentine astronomer Paolo dal Pozzo Toscanelli to King Afonso, not Alfonso,
Not
Alfonso. No,
Alfonso.
not Alfonso. The fifth of Portugal that it would be quicker to sail west across the Atlantic to Asia versus sailing around Africa, but his suggestion was shot down. Listen, motherfuckers, they didn't know that there was a whole fucking continent. That's something I had to keep reminding myself. They didn't realize this land existed.
Yeah.
It wasn't there to them. There was England, or there was like Europe, Asia, and then
Nothing.
Africa, and then nothing else. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Colombo claims to have written to the astronomer and gotten his full support to attempt a westward expedition. However, it would take until 1492 for him to get permission from the monarchy of Spain to attempt this voyage. In his writings, Colombo often talked about seeking gold and large quantities of it. He also wrote often about converting the world to Christianity, hoping that the resources from the quote unquote New World would help him in this endeavor. Greed. Greed.
Greedy.
Europeans being greedy. Now, traveling around the world was not an easy feat at the end of the 15th century. You literally had to calculate the size of the earth and determine how far you needed to travel, therefore determining how much supplies and shit you needed to get around the world.
Yeah.
You literally, they have, in fact, been doing this since the first century,
Astrological calculations, huh?
since the 0000s, but their calculations were just a bit off. And after doing his own maths, Colombo would underestimate how far he would have to go. By his estimates, he would be traveling 2,400 nautical miles, but in reality, he would have to go over 10,000 nautical miles.
Wow.
But Colombo had one thing going for him that would end up being the thing that made this voyage successful: the wind. Through his first marriage, he had access to maps used by his father in law while he had served in the Portuguese Navy. Also working with Bart in the cartography shop, he had heard many stories from sailors about the conditions of the sea. But his knowledge was not complete, and he would set sail during hurricane season, putting himself and his crew at risk of running into a tropical storm,
No, no.
which they never fucking did.
Damn.
If they had, this would be a totally different fucking podcast.
What a historical glitch that could have happened.
I mean, seriously. Around 1484, Colombo submitted his proposal to King John II of Portugal John passed the proposal to his advisors, and they rejected it. It was rejected on the grounds that his estimated distance of travel was only one quarter of what it would actually be.
If we ever get rich, we're making that movie.
What movie?
What it would be like if, uh, Colombo ran into the hurricane instead.
Like present day
Yep,
America is what it would be like if Columbus had died out in the ocean.
yep. Just start it like that.
Mhm.
He ran into the hurricane instead.
Columbus is, like, setting sail, and then he just, like, runs into a hurricane and dies.
Nobody steal that.
No way. Well, I don't know, we would still no, we would still have to deal with bullshit, though, because I don't now I gotta think, that's really weird the way that the Spanish conquered the West, but they
Yeah,
came from the East.
yeah. That's because they came through South America.
Oh, yeah, that makes
They
sense.
came up through South
They went
America.
up that way
Yeah,
instead of going that way.
yep.
Makes sense, thank you.
You're welcome.
He tried again to appeal to the king in 1488, but was again unsuccessful. This was in part due to the fact that Bartholomew Diaz, sorry,
Marco?
had just returned to Portugal after successfully rounding the southern tip of the African continent.
Marco, super awesome nachos.
Nachos. So Colombo turned his eyes to Spain. He appealed to Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile, who had married and united Spain under their dual rule. These were the Spanish that did the Inquisition.
Yeah.
Much like with the Portuguese, the committee tasked with reviewing his proposal recognized that his estimates were way off and advised the monarchy decline the venture. While they did not agree to fully fund his expedition, not wanting to lose him, the queen did set him up with 14,000 maravedis, which was the um,
Currency?
currency at the time. It's not a currency anymore.
No.
A few years later, they sent him another 10,000 and gave him a letter ordering all communities in their kingdom to house and feed him at no cost. Around this time, Colombo sent his brother to England to speak with the crown on whether they would be interested in funding the venture. Unfortunately for Bart, he was captured by pirates and would not reach England until 1941. By this time, Colombo had retreated to a friary where he received more money from the Spanish crown to buy new clothes and instructions to return to Spain for more talks. Colombo arrived at the king's camp but was forced to wait while the king and queen conquered Granada in January of 1492. Can you
Damn.
just hang on a minute? We just got to go to this conquering thing. A little Inquisition over here. We'll just be right back.
Right.
At first, the queen heeded the advice of her advisors and was not willing to fund the expedition. But after Colombo had left for France, Ferdinand sent his advisors to speak with the queen. It was finally his clerk who was able to convince the queen to approve funding by arguing Colombo might take his ideas elsewhere. Goodness, I got a burp trying to work his way up. Nope. Okay. In the April 1492 capitulations of Santa Fe, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella promised Columbus that if he succeeded, he would be given the rank of Admiral of the Ocean and appointed Viceroy and Governor of all the new lands he might claim for Spain. He had the right to nominate 3 persons from whom the sovereigns would choose one for any office in the new lands. He would be entitled to 1/10 of all revenues from the new lands in perpetuity. He would also have the option of buying 1/8 interest in any commercial venture in the new lands and receive 1/8 of its profits, end quote.
Mhm.
So he wasn't just going out because he wanted to explore and find shit. He had
Was
a
colonizing.
vested interest in finding new lands for Spain to colonize.
Right.
On August 3rd, 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He set out with 3 ships, leaving from Palos de la Frontera. Most of us in the US can probably recite these ships by heart. Do you remember
Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
that one? Their first stop was in the Canary Islands, where they restocked their ships and made repairs.
Hey, hey, hey. I don't practice Santeria.
I ain't got no crystal ball. I had $1 million, but I spent it all. On September 6th, they set out for what would end up being a 5-week voyage across the ocean, not a 3-hour tour.
No,
On October 11th,
that was Gilligan.
yeah, I know everybody under 25 is like, "What?" Yeah, I just made myself feel old.
Professor!
Ginger. On October 11th, Colombo changed the fleet's course due west and sailed through the night, believing land would be found soon. And he was right. At 2 a.m., a lookout on the Pinta spotted land, which was confirmed by the captain, and Colombo was notified. Of course, Colombo made sure to claim that he was the first one to spot land, as he was able to claim the lifetime pension the Spanish monarchy had promised to the person who first spotted new land.
Ah, okay.
So the lookout
What a
on the
liar.
Pinta could have been set up for life because he was the first person to spot new land,
Columbo
but
stole it from
Colombo
him.
lied.
What a
Imagine
jerk.
that. White man lying so they could steal something from other people. Oh
Right.
no. Color me shocked. The land they had found is now known as the Bahamas, but it was called Guanahani by the indigenous people of the islands.
Hmm.
In his journey entry for that day, Colombo wrote, quote, I saw some who had marks of wounds on their bodies, and I made signs to ask them what they were. And they showed me how people from other islands nearby came there and tried to take them and how they defended themselves. And I believed and believe that they come here from terra firm to take them captive. They should be good and intelligent servants, for I see that they say very quickly everything that is said to them, and I believe they would become Christians very easily, for it seemed to me they had no religion. Our Lord pleasing, at the time of my departure, I will take 6 of them from here to your highness in order that they may learn to speak. End quote.
What the hell? Taking slaves right off the bat.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. These motherfuckers had no chill. Okay. None. None. Oh yeah. We're gonna take a few of them with us. They're gonna be great servants because they can repeat what we say,
Mm,
and they should become Christians very easy because they have no structured religion.
Christianity,
They
man.
just do this spiritual shit, and that's just we can't have that.
Right.
Now we know Columbo was trying to reach Asia, and he gave the name Indian to the native people. In reality, he had met the Lu Lucayan, Taino, and Arawak peoples. When he spotted the Arawak's gold earrings, he took some of them captive and forced them to show him where they got the gold.
Damn.
Yeah. Colombo claimed that the Taino people told him of another tribe in a neighboring island that would often raid them and capture their women. Nowadays, however, it is believed that was a lie told by the Spaniards to justify enslaving them.
Right.
Hate him, 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 hate him. I'm gonna kill him. No. Every once in a while, Ian will just hear me whisper, I'm gonna kill you. Because I'll be listening to Sinisterhood and she says that right at the end of their theme song. And I have that Ecolila. Yeah, I don't know how to say
Yeah.
it. I have that thing. Colombo explored the coast of Cuba through the end of October and into November. On December 6th, he made his way to Hispaniola, or Haiti, as it is called in Ta- Taino. Um, it's where Haiti and the Dominican Republic are.
Right.
It's called Haiti.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day, 1942, the Santa Maria ran aground and was used by target practice by Colombo and his crew to impress the natives.
What the hell?
They're fucking idiots. Yeah. Shoot your fucking shit, you dumbass. And the Santa Maria was the big one. The
Right.
Pinta and the Nina were little ones.
Yeah.
But they're like, instead of fixing this giant ship, let's just blow holes in it so we can let the indigenous people know we got guns.
Yeah.
It's literally like living here. People going out shooting
Yeah.
and shit. Like, God, it's not as impressive as you think it is.
No.
He was met with kindness and was granted permission to leave some of his men on the island. He left 39 there and founded the settlement of La Navidad in present day Haiti. He then took more natives prisoner and continued up the coast on the Nina until they back up with the Pinta on January 6th. The Pinta had been on a side quest to look for an island that was supposed to be filled with gold because these dumbasses just believe everything they're told. On January 13th, 1493, Colombo made his last stop on Haiti in the Bay of Recon, Rankin. Rankin. That's a hard word to say. I should know how to say it because I used to live outside of Rankin, Georgia,
Yeah.
where he was met with resistance. During trading with the Sigayos people, they could not come to an agreement over the number of bows and arrows to trade, and a fight broke out. Two natives were wounded, one was stabbed in the buttocks,
Oh
and the
no.
other one was shot in the chest with an arrow.
Damn.
I tried not to laugh at that. I was like, "It's not funny." They're, like, hurting the native, but he got stabbed in the butt.
Ouch.
Imagine the fact that he's gonna have a limp for the rest of his life because it's fucking 1400s, and he'll be lucky if he doesn't get an infection in his ass.
Yeah. Probably
Columbo
probably did die later from it.
probably, it's insane. Listen, everybody, I'm one of those people, I believe in indigenous ways and culture, but I'm gonna be real sad when electronics and technology die because I like modern medicine and sterilization.
Yeah.
Colombo headed back to Spain on the Nina, but a storm separated them from the Pinta. The Nina was forced to stop on the island of Santa Maria in the Azores, where half of the crew went on shore to pray in a chapel and thanks for surviving the storm. Ironically, while they were praying, they were locked in the church by the island's governor on suspicion of being pirates.
Nice.
Only thing separating them from pirates, money.
Yep.
Literally.
Permission from the crown.
After 2 days, they were released, and the men set sail again. Another storm forced Colombo and his crew to port, but this time closer to home in Lisbon.
Yeah, because it
There,
was hurricane season.
yeah, dumbass. There he met with King John II, where he was informed he may have violated the 1479 Treaty of Alcacovas. After little more than a week, he was able to set sail for Spain, which he reached on March 15th, 1493, which Lisbon is in Spain, but he was sailing for, like, bigger wherever the fucking king and queen were at.
Yeah.
He was given a hero's welcome, then met with the king and queen, where he presented them with captive natives and various plants and objects he had collected among his journey.
Hmm.
So that's great. One of the 10 people taken captive was a young Lucayan boy. A young Lucayan Taino, thought to be between 13 and 15 years old. When they returned to Spain, Colombo adopted him as his son and gave him the name. You want to guess what name he gave him?
Luca.
Diego.
Oh.
He has a brother and a child named Diego, and he has another child named Diego. Sadly, his native name is lost to the annals of time. Diego was singled out for his intelligence and his adaptability and would be instrumental in the coming voyages. By the time Colombo went out on his second voyage later that year, Diego was the only native to have survived in their quote unquote new homeland.
Hmm.
So out of 10, only one survived less than a year.
Damn.
On September 24th, 1493, Colombo set off again, but this time with 17 ships.
Jesus.
and enough supplies to establish colonies in the Americas. He took with him almost 1,500 men, soldiers, sailors, priests, and tradesmen. Quote, among the expedition members were Alvarez Chanca, literally last name's a flip-flop, a physician who wrote a detailed account of the second voyage, Juan Ponce de Leon, the first governor of Puerto Rico and Florida. We actually talked about him in our episode about the haunted San Juan, Puerto Rico fort.
Nice.
Yeah. The father of Bartholomew de las Casas, Juan de la Cosa, a cartographer who is credited with making the first world map depicting the New World,
Hmm.
and Columbus's youngest brother, Diego, as well as his son, Diego.
Diego, too.
End quote. This is actually like Diego number 3, I think. The fleet stopped at the Canary Islands to get more supplies and set sail again on October 7th. On October 3rd, they arrived at the Windward Islands, where they anchored in an area of present-day Guadalupe. November 17th would be the first day Colombo set his eyes on the coast of Puerto Rico, known to the native Taino people as Borican. The fleet spent the day sailing along the southern coast of the island before making landfall at the Bay of Anasco early on the 19th. They stayed anchored there until the 21st, refilling their water cask. Because I can imagine after 5 weeks across the sea, you probably ain't got much fucking water left.
Nope.
On November 22nd,
Just
Colombo.
pickle juice.
I mean, it's fine for Cindy if she's having one of those weird fugue states she goes into, and the only thing that snaps her out of it's pickle juice.
Yep.
It's fucking weird, man. So yeah, weird side quest. There was this lady. Does she still work there?
No.
Okay, so there was this lady we used to work with. She would have these really weird fugue states where like her face would turn white.
Yeah.
Her eyes would get glassy and unfocused, and she would just kind of be out of it. And the only thing that the thing I don't know if it was the only thing, but the thing that would snap her out of it instantly was
Pickle
to drink
juice.
pickle juice. And you could literally hand her the jar, she would drink it, and you could watch the color come back to her face and,
Yeah,
like,
it was
her
weird.
eyes focus, and it's like, "What the fuck is that?
Were you having a
Why is
stroke?
pickle juice the only thing that fixes it?" It was almost like she was having grandma seizures,
Yeah.
honestly. But I don't think that's what it was, because I knew a girl that had those in high school, and hers were different than that. Because Cindy would still seem like she would still be, like, working and stuff,
Mhm.
but you could tell she wasn't there.
Yeah.
She just wasn't there. So, I hope she overcame that, because that was a scary
I
thing
think she did. She looked
to
a lot healthier when
experience.
she left.
That was a scary thing to experience, so on November 22nd, Colombo arrived in his settlement of La Navidad in present-day Haiti to find it in ruins. He said, "Oh, I don't need to build a fortified fort. I could enslave these people with 50 people. Be fine." Bitch. He learned after quarrels with the locals over their pillaging of their villages, his men were attacked and killed by a neighboring community. Colombo then attempted to create another settlement, La Isabela, in the Dominican Republic, but by the end of 1494, over two-thirds of the settlers there had died from disease or famine. Sorry, white folks.
Damn.
Y'all don't belong in the jungle. Go away. From April to August of 1494, Colombo took a voyage to Jamaica and Cuba before coming back to the Dominican Republic. Before he left, he gave orders to a large regiment of men to quote journey the length and breadth of the island, enforcing Spanish control and bringing all the people under the Spanish yoke. End quote.
Damn.
Of course, this meant to the men to let their most base instincts free and do their worst to the people of the island. This included stealing from villages, raping native women, and taking native men as slaves. But the Taino people were not just going to lay down and roll over to this new overlord. They spent those 4 months attacking and killing the Spanish in retaliation. By the time Colombo returned, the chiefs were preparing for a full-on war. Colombo assembled large number of soldiers and, along with one allied chief, set out to do battle. Although they were outnumbered, they won this battle and over the next 9 months continued to attack the Taino people until they finally surrendered and agreed to pay tribute. So he set up Encomienda, quote, a Spanish label system that rewarded conquerors with the labor of conquered non-Christian people, end quote.
Right.
It is also noted that punishments for both Spaniards and natives included whippings and body mutilations.
Ugh.
I wonder where Leopold got his ideas from, huh?
Right.
Huh? Most, if not all, of the natives they came across were either enslaved or were murdered, including the children. They were raped, beaten, and tortured for the location of the gold the Spanish believed was out there. Like with enslaved Africans who chose to die by jumping into the sea, it is believed thousands of natives took their own lives instead of being forced into enslavement.
Damn, that's sad.
It is, but like, I get it. I do the same fucking thing. Ain't nobody telling me what the fuck to do. Ain't nobody telling me what the fuck to do.
Right.
Not gonna happen. Not like that. Not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. February 1495 would see Colombo round up around 1,500 Arawaks in a quote unquote great slave trade. 500 of the strongest were shipped to Spain as slaves, but about 200 of them died on the trip over the ocean.
Mm.
In June of 1495, the crown sent ships and supplies to Colombo in the DR. In October, the winner of the bid to supply the expedition, Florentine merchant Gianotto Berardi, received a large shipment of enslaved natives. This motivated him to send more supplies to the colonies, and he began to organize another shipment when he died suddenly in December.
Mm.
After around 30 months away, the fleet left the islands on March 19th, 1496, returning to Cadiz on June 11th. After a couple of years back in Europe, Colombo set out on May 30th, 1498, with a fleet of 6 ships. After stopping in Madeira and the Canary Islands, the fleet divided into 2 groups of 3 ships. One group headed back to Haiti, while the other 3, commanded by Colombo, headed south to Cape Verde. It is possible, but not confirmed, that they had heard rumors of a large continent south of the Caribbean Sea. But either way, they set sail westward from the Cape. On July 31st, they spotted the island of Trinidad. It's a place I'd like to go. I know a couple Trinidadians.
Yeah.
Place I'd like to go.
They got good peppers.
Oh man, they got such good food. On August 5th, Colombo sent several small boats to the south side of Para Peninsula in present-day Venezuela. This is the first recorded landing of Europeans on the mainland of South America.
Right.
After 2 weeks exploring the islands of South America, Colombo returned to the Dominican Republic to find his settlers this time in rebellion over his unmet promises. He had some of the rebels tried, and at least one of them was hanged.
Mm.
October of 1499 would see 2 ships return to Spain to ask the court to appoint a royal commissioner to help him govern. By this point, reports of his alleged tyranny had reached the court, and they sent Francisco Bobadilla. Bobadilla. That's his name. It's probably
Some
like
funny names.
Bobadilla.
Bobadilla.
It's Bobadilla. A friend of the Queen's, to investigate the accusations. As soon as he arrived on the island, he was set upon with complaints levied against all 3 of the Colombo brothers. Bobadilla seized Colombo's property, moved into his house, and declared himself governor.
Damn.
I'm going to call him Bob from here on out because Bobadilla is just weird. Bob reported back to the crown that Colombo was accused of, quote, punishing a man found guilty of stealing corn by having his ears and nose cut off, then selling him into slavery. He claimed that Columbus regularly used torture and mutilation to govern Hispaniola. Testimony recorded in the report stated that Columbus congratulated his brother Bartholomew on quote unquote defending the family when the latter ordered for a woman to be paraded naked through the streets, then had her tongue cut because she spoke ill of the admiral and his brothers.
Damn.
The document also described how Columbus put down native unrest and revolt. He first ordered a brutal suppression of the uprising in which many natives were killed, then paraded their dismembered bodies through the streets in an attempt to discourage further rebellion. Columbus vehemently denied the charges. End quote.
Dude, sick, man.
Like, of course he denied the charges. Who's going to be like, yeah, I did. So what?
Oh, shit.
Hmm,
I just seen this graffitied statue. Looking hilarious.
that's funny. There is also debate among historians over the validity of these accusations due to anti-Italian sentiment from Spaniards and the fact that Bob wanted to take over Colombo's position. In October of 1500, Colombo and Diego, the little brother, turned themselves into Bob, where they were arrested and chained aboard the vessel he had arrived in. They were shipped back to Spain and spent 6 weeks in jail before they were released by the king. Shortly after, they were summoned to the palace in Granada, where the monarchy expressed indignation at Bob's actions. They also ordered Bob to repay Colombo for the property he stole from him. After hearing their side of the story, the brothers were given their freedom and had their wealth restored. After much persuasion, the crown agreed to fund his fourth voyage, but with a condition. Nicholas de Ovando would replace Bob and be the new governor of the West Indies. And this is where we're going to leave you this week, folks. I do want to say this, though. While historians may debate the validity of the accusations against Colombo, I personally do not, because I listened to the stories of the descendants of the ancestors that were his victims.
Right.
I said this earlier to you, and I said it earlier in the show. The only difference between Colombo and his pirates is the funding of the crown.
Yeah.
People shit a lot on Vikings for raping and pillaging, but we're just supposed to accept that these dudes are saviors.
Right.
I think not. Next week, we will cover the fourth expedition of this psychopath, look more into his crimes against Native people, and discuss what his legacy should look like today.
Oh, I know what it looks like today.
Okay, Bill. No, I said what his legacy should look like,
Right.
not what it looks like to us.
Bro, there was a painting of him, and some climate activist just like threw red paint all over it. I was
And
like,
then
oh,
you got the quote unquote leader of the free world over here sign an executive orders that his day will be a federal holiday or whatever bullshit. But,
right.
all right, Bill, thoughts?
He was a scumbag.
I'm so tired. This shit, I don't think people realize this stuff takes a lot out of me emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, I'm drained after these 2 episodes. I feel emotionally drained because you guys should go over to, Patreon for $5 a month. You can learn about King Leopold
Yep.
and the Congo and what's still happening in the
Oh.
Congo and how we should fix that,
Right.
do our part.
Should, yeah.
And then doing Columbus, I'm just like, and then after the week I had at work,
It's been a rough one for you, huh?
I need a vacation.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you guys have a good week, and we will see you guys later.
Be kind to each other.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Love you guys.